Well, I really think this is the perfect phone. Let me tell you some more. I'm Skylar. Let's get started. So, Apple did it. This was exactly what's been leaked by our good friend John Prosser. This is the exact date and pretty much all the exact features. Like, his leaks and all of the leaks together are pretty much perfectly here in this phone. Like, it really all is here. What is this phone? This is the iPhone SE. It's a good phone here. Like, I think this is the best thing from Apple in a while. Even though it's SE, it's the budget model, it really is like the best thing to expect here from Apple. So let's talk about some specifics here with it. The name. Now, I know you would think that can't get that specific, but it does. So this phone was often leaked being named the iPhone 9. Apple is calling it the iPhone SE. Now, I suspect that support documents and things will say iPhone 9 2020, like this. Hopefully a cool animation just came up. Depends on how lazy I was in post. Now, at this point, it's kind of a mystery what the general public will call it. But I foresee iPhone SE 2 being a big name for just the big popular name in the public. In fact, Apple themselves even called it second gen iPhone SE 2 in their press release. They also called it the new iPhone SE and the iPhone SE. So good job there not settling one name there. Nice move, Apple, keeping us on our toes. But here's a curveball here. I could actually see people calling it the iPhone 11 SE. Because if you'll remember back to 20-something or other, when we had the iPhone SE, a lot of people called it the iPhone 5 SE. But now that could also be because there was an iPhone 5S and there's no iPhone 11s. So that's a tough call to make. But I'm guessing people won't just call it, the iPhone SE, because that's a little bit confusing because it's another one of those. But now I've gone on long enough about the name, let's get to the design. It's the iPhone 8. Alright, let's move on to the specs. Okay, just kidding. There is a little bit more to the design than that, but it mostly is just that. So I'm going to show you what I've got in my hand right here, which is my iPhone 8. That's what I have. I have an iPhone 8, and it's this guy right here. It's got glass back, glass front, like all good phones. And here are some of the notable differences between the iPhone 8 and the iPhone SE. No 3D touch. So 3D touch is a big thing here. That's what I use to do this, 3D touch. Now there's haptic touch, which is basically just the long press, but I'm personally a fan of 3D touch where you have to push down, but hey. Another feature over here is Smart HDR and Portrait Mode. So basically there what we're talking about is camera. It has got all sorts of fancy smart features on the iPhone SE. Basically what they do with all the new phones, like they did with the 11, I don't even know what that phone is called. The 11. Yes, like they did with the iPhone 11. It's got one camera, but they use all their software to make it much better. So this camera right here is in no ways a bad camera. It's quite a good camera. In fact, it has 4K video. A lot of people don't know that, but there's 4K video on the iPhone 7 and 8, and it's really quite good actually. Now, other features that are different is dual SIM. That's a very minor thing, but the iPhone 8 had a single SIM, the iPhone SE has dual SIM. That's something that Apple puts on all their new phones now. Simple difference there. Let me remind you of some of the cool specs of the iPhone 8. Touch ID. Touch ID is awesome. Like, a lot of people really like Touch ID. It's got wireless charging. So if I had a wireless charger, set it down, charge. I don't have one, but if I did, that would be awesome. It's also got IP67 water resistance, which there are probably a lot of videos out there showing people getting their iPhones wet. But as far as I'm concerned, it means you can splash your iPhone a little bit or maybe accidentally drop it and pick it out of water once. So those are some interesting things which people often just slide by or forget about in the 8 that are also on the SE. So pretty full-featured phone there. In fact, when we move into the specs, you realize that this really is like a full-featured phone here. So the camera, not a big deal, but the processor, a big deal. The processor is the A13 Bionic processor, which that's the same one as the iPhone 11. That is this year's phone. You're getting the newest iPhone specs in the budget model, which is what they did with the original SE, but it's really good. I really like that. And it also allows you to get good camera pictures. So these right here are Apple's pictures where they set up their perfect circumstances and situations to get great pictures. But it does show that you can get really good photos just because of the processor, which is a fast processor. It's probably going to have the same 4 gigabytes RAM as the iPhone 11s probably do, and it'll have the same like graphics and all that stuff. It's basically iPhone 11 on the inside, iPhone 8 on the outside, which is awesome. The options. So it comes in 3 colors: red, silver, and black. Good colors. I just wish there were more, because I think that the colorful options like on the iPhone 11 and the XR had, and the 5C, throwback there, they have these colorful options, and I really miss that on the other phones, and I don't know. I just wish this phone had more color. Storage options, 64, 128, 256, makes perfect sense, is exactly what they should have. Simple. Pricing. You may have caught a glimpse of it earlier, but the pricing is $400. That's really good. Like, think about this phone here. This is the newest specs. So the iPhone 11 specs, that's over $1,000 phone. With the iPhone 8's body glass back wireless charging, that was like a $600, $700 phone when it launched. And iPhone 8s are still going for around $300 on eBay used phone sites, which I know because that's where I bought this one. So you can trust me there. And it really is good. Like, this is a great option. I would totally go for this phone if you need a new one. If you're on an iPhone 6, 6S, maybe a 7, Dad, then you should get this phone. It's a good option. Seriously. It's great if you're not willing to spend $1,000 on a new phone, but it will be just as powerful as the $1,000 phones. Really, really good. Now, something that we're missing here is the iPhone SE Plus. So that was mentioned in a couple leaks, but it was said that it wasn't in production yet, so they weren't done with it. And there were stuff saying, especially from John Prosser here, that it wouldn't be finished in time. So we could expect, although I don't think this is very Apple-like at all, we could expect next week or in the coming weeks an iPhone 9 Plus, which would be kind of cool. So if you want a bigger phone, hold off. Otherwise, this is a great option. Also, if you use Zoom, check out my new website I've been working on, quitzoom.com, to see some of the issues and better software choices. Alright, I'm Skylar. Thanks for watching. Bye. Wow, the camera lived. I thought it was going to die. I thought the camera was going to die, but it lived. We're good.